Before we jump into the story, quick reminder. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks. My girlfriend used our shared savings to take another man on dates, so I told her to enjoy the evening and emptied the entire account while she was sitting in a fancy restaurant with him. A few hours later, she was calling me in a panic because her card had just been declined in front of everyone. But the story really starts a little earlier. I'm 30, and until recently, I had been in a relationship with my girlfriend, Emily, who is 26. We had been together for about 5 years. To everyone around us, we looked like the perfect couple, the stable one, the one people assumed would eventually get married. We lived together in a small but cozy apartment. Nothing fancy, but it was comfortable. We had routines that felt normal and familiar. Grocery shopping on Sundays, watching shows together in the evenings, making coffee together before work in the morning. And we had a shared dream. For about a year, we had been saving money for a big trip to Southeast Asia. Not just a quick vacation, a real adventure. 5 weeks traveling through Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia. Backpacking, temples, street food, beaches. The kind of trip you talk about for years afterward. That trip meant a lot to me. Emily always said it meant just as much to her. To make it happen, we started a dedicated savings account. Technically, the account was under my name because it was easier to set up that way, but we both contributed money to it every month. I put in around 65% of the money since I earned a bit more, but Emily still added her share consistently. We even had a little savings app that tracked our progress toward the goal. Watching that number slowly grow every month felt amazing. It felt like we were building something together. After about a year, we had saved just over $9,300. We were close. Really close. But around that time, something about Emily started to change. At first, it was subtle. She started going out more often. Girls' nights, she called them. Drinks after work. Late dinners with friends. Then, it became more frequent. She stayed out later. Her texts became shorter. Sometimes she wouldn't respond for hours. Still, I trusted her. I wasn't the jealous type. I believed relationships worked best when people trusted each other. When she said she was stressed from work and just needed to unwind more, I believed her. Looking back now, that trust feels almost embarrassing. The truth came out in the most ordinary way possible. One afternoon, I logged into our shared email account. Emily and I used it for boring things like bills, rent notices, streaming services, and warranty receipts. I was looking for the warranty information for our coffee machine because it had started making a weird noise. But when I opened the inbox, one email caught my attention immediately. The subject line read, "Reservation confirmation, the Grand View." The Grand View is one of those ridiculously expensive restaurants in our city. The kind of place where dinner costs hundreds of dollars. Emily and I used to joke about going there someday if we ever won the lottery. Curiosity made me click on the email. It was a reservation for 2 people from the previous Thursday evening. The name on the reservation said, Emily Carter and Tyler Brooks. For a few seconds, my brain refused to process what I was seeing. Then I opened the trash folder. And that's when everything started to fall apart. There were entire conversations between Emily and this guy Tyler. Long email threads, flirty messages, romantic plans, jokes, and little nicknames. It was painfully obvious that they had been seeing each other for months. Those girls' nights. Many of them had actually been dates with Tyler, but somehow it still managed to get worse. While reading through the emails, I noticed several references to money, transfers, payments. My stomach dropped. I immediately opened the banking app on my laptop and logged into our vacation savings account. My hands were shaking. Over the last 4 months, Emily had quietly transferred almost $3,600 from the account into her personal bank account. At first, the transfers were small, $120, $180, $200. Amounts small enough that I probably wouldn't notice, but over time they got bigger. $450, $600, $700, and every single transfer lined up perfectly with one of her nights out. One of the larger withdrawals happened right before a weekend. She told me she was visiting her sister. But later I remembered seeing her sister post pictures online from home that same weekend. Emily had never been there. That was the moment the anger should have hit me. But it didn't. Instead, everything just went cold. It felt like watching a movie where you suddenly realize the entire story has been happening behind your back. For the next hour, I sat at the kitchen table going through every single bank statement, every transfer, every date, every email. The pattern was obvious. Emily wasn't just cheating on me. She was making me pay for it. The money we had been saving for our future, for our dream trip, had been funding her relationship with another man. At that point, I could have confronted her. I could have called her. I could have waited until she got home and demanded an explanation. But honestly, what would have been the point? I already knew the truth. No explanation could change what I had already seen. So instead of arguing, I made a decision. A very simple one. The next evening, Emily was getting ready to go out again. She looked incredible. New dress, hair done, makeup perfect. I didn't recognize the dress. For a brief moment, I wondered if she had bought it using our vacation money. "Big night?" I asked casually. She smiled at me. The same warm smile I had seen thousands of times over the past 5 years. "Yeah," she said. "Just dinner with Jessica and the girls. We're celebrating her promotion." The funny thing was, I knew Jessica was currently on a business trip in another state, but I just nodded. "Sounds fun," I said. Then I added, "You look great." She seemed pleased with the compliment. Then I paused for a second. "You know what?" I said. "Use the vacation fund card tonight. My treat." Her eyes lit up immediately. "Really? Are you serious?" "Yeah," I said calmly. "Why not? You deserve it." She hesitated for a moment. "Are you sure? That's our travel money." "I'm sure." She leaned forward and kissed my cheek. "You're the best," she said. Then she grabbed the debit card connected to the savings account and headed toward the door. "I'll probably be late," she added. "Don't wait up." The moment the door closed behind her, I opened my laptop. I logged into the bank. Within minutes, I transferred the remaining $5,700 from the savings account into my personal checking account. The balance dropped to zero. Then I submitted a request to close the savings account entirely. After that, I grabbed my keys and drove to the bank. I withdrew every dollar. When the teller handed me the envelope filled with $100 bills, it felt strangely symbolic, heavy, real, like I was holding the remains of the future we had planned together. When I got back to the apartment, I started packing. Not my things, hers. I folded her clothes carefully and placed them into boxes. Her shoes, her makeup, her books, all the little things she had accumulated over the years. I was calm, methodical, organized. When I finished packing her belongings, I went through our filing cabinet and removed all of my important documents. My passport, my birth certificate, my social security card, those went straight into my briefcase. By the time I finished, her boxes were stacked neatly by the front door. Around 9:45 p.m., my phone started buzzing. Emily. I ignored the first call, then the second, then the third. Soon, a string of messages started appearing. "Hey, my card got declined." "This is really embarrassing." "Can you transfer money?" "The bill is huge." "Tyler had to cover it." "Why isn't the card working?" "Answer your phone." On the 9th call, I finally answered. Emily sounded frantic. "What did you do?" she shouted. "The waiter just came back with my card cut in half. He said the bank declined it. Tyler just had to pay for a $420 dinner and everyone was staring." I waited until she finished. Then I said calmly, "The account has a zero balance, Emily." "What?" "I used the vacation fund." "What are you talking about?" "I used it for my future," I said quietly. "A future that doesn't include you." There was silence on the line. Then she asked, "How do you even know about Tyler?" "The grand view," I replied. "The weekend trip. The shopping sprees. I know everything. The line went completely silent. In the background, I could hear a man's voice asking, "Is everything okay?" Probably Tyler. "I packed your things," I continued calmly. "They're by the door. I've already talked to the landlord and paid the fee to remove you from the lease. You have until the end of the month to move out." Then I added one final sentence. "Maybe Tyler has room for you." And I hung up. I blocked her number, blocked her on every social media account. Then I sat down on the couch. The apartment was completely silent. The envelope of cash sat on the coffee table in front of me. The adrenaline slowly faded. And for the first time in years, my life was quiet.